What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Tooth and Tail Clan Wars Week 2. How's it going, everybody? I am doing well. I am Delthius, and joining me on the casting crew, we've got Jed Erickson. What's going on, man?
Well, what's going on here is quite obvious to me. Have a look at chat if you haven't already, because some people are doubting that I can bully the clans involved.
You missed your chance for the schoolyard bullies this season, man.
I know. Don't worry, we'll get to it. We've started recruiting already. We just came a little late.
Okay.
Next season, watch out.
Well, we're going to start things off today with a beginner's match, which was completed via replay. Let me know how the levels are, everybody. I did some sound testing before we got started. I am on a little bit of a delay, too, so I apologize if the chat is a bit behind the stream. But without any further ado, I suppose we should get into it. You got the replays ready to roll?
Yeah, I just need to press. There you go. Now I'm in the replay folder. Yeah, one thing I do also want to note first. I'm gonna steal your stream for a moment here.
Yeah, man, go for it.
I feel particularly inspired today, so maybe after this I might do a stream of my own. Just play a few ranked games or something, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well,
I'm ready for game one.
There is another stream going on after this at 4 o'clock EST, about 3 hours from now. The second match for Week 2 of TnT Clan Wars will be streamed by, I don't have their Twitch handle, unfortunately, but if you just check out the Tooth and Tail category, I'm sure it will come up. But anyways, I think we're ready to get into it. Hopefully all the teams are ready to go. So it's Toad Rogue Gang against Pboop this week. I am the clan leader of Clan Pboop, so I'm pretty excited. I'm trying to not be biased here. See, here's what we need to do, Jet. You need to be pro Toad Rogue Gang, right? So we can even out the bias for the stream.
Okay. Sadly, I cannot do that, but I have another suggestion.
Okay.
What if I'm just more anti-Pboop than usual?
I don't know if you can be more anti-Pboop than you already are, so we'll see how it works out. Anyways, you ready to hop into game number 1 here? This is a beginner's match, so we got 2 beginner's match and 2 experience. If you're not 100% on the format, basically what's going on is there's a bunch of clans that we've all been forming over the past month or so. And in the clans, you split up your characters, or your players rather, between new and experienced, or beginner and experienced. And then the clan leaders decide how many of which category face off. So today we have 2 beginner versus 2 experience, and it's all best of 3s. The goal is to get 3 points for your team. So if you win a best of 3, that's 1 point. And then the tiebreaker, though, is a best of 1. Epicosity with the sub. Thank you so much, man. How come every time you're on, I get a sub, Jet?
Well, I can only tell you one thing, and that is having a voice like this is quite alluring.
All right, let's get into it. Let me know how the levels are in chat, guys. I think we got us fairly even, but we'll figure it out as we go. Be ready for game number 1 here?
Of course.
Let's do it. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, spawning on the right-hand side, representing Clan Pboop, we got Sassy Marquez. And up in the top left, representing Toad Rogue Gang, Chocobo Fan, a.k.a. Cactus.
So, how do you like these decks, Delthius?
Well, Toad Rogue Gangs are true to their name. They're rocking the Toad. Meanwhile, Sassy Marquez has a very powerful composition. I think the Skunk Snake Owl style is very, very good if you can get into that late game. But Chocobo, to me, is more of a mid-range, like, bruiser kind of deck, right? Maybe Chocobo can get in there and end the game before the Owls can really kick off.
That is an opportunity, yes, but on the other hand, I see a little... The unit choice here is a little bit questionable in terms of Wire, because usually what I see with Wire is that people want to build up towards something they can do later, and then my question usually comes in the form of, okay, but what does Chocobo Fan's deck want to do later?
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, Wire is a great defensive tool to kind of delay the game. I mean, maybe Chocobo could get up to like 4 skunks and start massing falcons. But you're right, there is no big beefy tier 3 or anything to transition to.
Indeed, and so I question if Wire will see much use this game, because delaying the game will only really help the person that has owls in this case here, because they love delayed games.
Right, and look at this, 8 farm mills from both sides. Very greedy economic openers, especially on such a short rush distance map. But if you look at Chocobo's main here, it's kind of a pain in the ass to get up there. Like, look at the ramping around, you know?
I wish I was sassy in this game here, playing with ferrets, because while this space here from Chocobo Fan looks very defendable, and it does have some key weaknesses against ferrets specifically, because you can so easily siege over the cliff here with ferret at any flying unit to give vision.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're wishing
But
you had the spitball deck here.
oh, Spitball would be absolutely amazing if I just captured the mill in the middle of the map here. It would give me great opportunities to go siege the opponent.
So
But sadly, that is not the game style we're playing today.
So Chocobo actually getting very high up on economy. I think Chocobo's reading this map quite nicely. You know, they're like, hey, it's going to be difficult to attack me. They're going to have to walk all the way around this water, take pig fire, you know, attack in through here. And if you look at this natural base, I mean, you can't really get in this way either. You know, there's that little tiny ramp in the water there, but mostly it's basically a pocket expand. But anyway, Sassy is going to move out and maybe try something.
I'm a little bit worried for how that's going to go for Sassy. I don't think it's time yet, and that wire is going to actually be assistant, but these squalls are gone. They're not in the right position.
Yeah, and the wire just getting busted through. I think people don't do this often enough. He really wants to get that other pig, but it does. Nice defense here from Chocobo. Getting that second pig would have been huge for Sassy, but overall, you got to be happy with that hold.
I think Sassy can live with this, but Sassy, the biggest loss of this is that they had an attack that wasn't successful enough, considering that they're economically behind, and that's going to really sting them. But if they can drag this game on long enough, I believe their more late game oriented composition can possibly just hold the game back for them.
Good scout here from Sassy. Gets to see everything. Sees that second base is fully saturated. That Chocobo is only on tier 1 units for the time being. So what's going to be the response? Maybe get a couple extra farms on their own natural. Maybe try to get into some skunks. And skunks going down for Chocobo right after Sassy leaves.
I like the play here from Sassy with the double skunk here, along with just having more T1. I like the double skunk here from Sassy, because Chocobo has already set the precedence that this is going to be a longer game. So going for like three T2 buildings like Sassy has done here might not be that bad a choice, considering that the game is bound to go a little bit further with how Chocobo is playing.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried because Chocobo was starting to move out with the units here, but pulled back. But here comes a big attack now. These skunks aren't actually ready here. This could be devastating for Sassy. Gonna blow up the toads with the lizards, but there's just so many squirrels coming in.
Yeah, I think the Sassy should be taking this fight outside of the base, but the skunks are coming in now. Could possibly save it. There's gonna be some loss of pigs here. That is inevitable at this point. 2 of them go down, but overall, I think if Sassy had held their position and not wandered right into the attack here, it would have been much easier to defend.
Yeah, I was getting worried there, but like you said, those skunks did pull in right at the nick of time, but losing those couple farms does hurt, but it's not the end of the world just yet. This big engagement coming in is going to be important. Who can keep the tier 2 alive? Chocobo continuing to move forward here. Those pigeons on the back line really helping to keep these skunks alive, and they might be breaking through. Gonna pull back for now.
I just think that the skunk gas control here in this choke point that they had here was very important. Since Chocobo got to put down some gas first, that means that the gas control went in Chocobo's favor, and that gave such a huge advantage to Chocobo.
Yeah, Chocobo's actually getting a lot of work done. These falcons helping to start burst down some of these skunks, but so many farms going down already. This might just be the nail in the coffin here. Let's see. The second base goes down. That's probably it.
That's probably it. I don't think there's any returning here from Marquez.
Gonna fight to the bitter end. This is a tournament match. Let's see, but I think the tap is gonna be coming out here from Sassy. Nice job from Chocobo, really playing quite smartly. I think they did a good job of utilizing the terrain of the map there. And gonna put a point up in the series. 1-0.
A good job from Chocobo fan indeed, and we'll see what they get on here within the second game of the series.
All right, let's hop right into it. Keep this going. Are you ready?
Yeah, always.
Let's do it. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, spotting in the bottom left with the same deck here, we've got Sassy Marquez. And over on the right-hand side, Cactus, aka Chocobo fan. Changing things up this time around. bringing in that boar and the snakes.
I really like this in comparison to the deck from earlier. There, you heard I had my issues with it based on the wire not being used to bring anything out. There was nothing to build towards using the wire, but in this case, you'd want to build for Boar Falcon, of course. And on top of that, the map here is absolutely amazing for wire. There's only one real entrance to the base, and if you just capture this forward mill and just fill this choke point with wire, there's no getting through it.
Yeah. And to be fair, I think the wire did okay last round too. You know, Chocobo didn't use a ton of it, but it did help slow down that initial attack from Sassy Marquez and make that a really cost and effective trade. But you're right, this time around he does have Snake and Boar, which will be something you want to kind of turtle up behind wire, get a fat economy for, and then build towards.
Hold on a second, I got a phone call.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so quick expand here from Sassy. Let's see how Chocobo responds. Going to go for an expand as well. And we're going to have to kind of go from here. Actually, a quick tier 2 from Chocobo. Going to go for the Snake first. Getting into some tier 1 as well. And this is a little bit of a risky play. This early Snake can do a great job with some good control. You know, it only takes one tag from the snake to kill a squirrel or a lizard, but I feel like you do run the risk of just getting overwhelmed by a lot of tier 1, especially lizards that are fast enough to get in and target those snakes down. So it's probably going to come to control more than anything else.
That is true, but I think there's one big counterplay to that in this map here where snakes will do extremely well, and that is just with wire. So there's only one road here. If you just put this full with wire and have snakes defending it, there's absolutely no way you're getting through it.
Yeah, the boar is going to be nice to scale into the late game with if we do end up getting there, you know, against the owls. And Sassy thinking about attacking, but going to pull back for now.
I like Chocobo's style here in that Chocobo is really trying. Oh, there comes the wire in the choke here, which is all we're looking for. But I really like that Chocobo is trying to obviously milk tank here. You see them pull their army back. Now Chocobo fan here has the wire up, and it's going to be nigh impossible to push on this map. And Chocobo can go for a lot of economy very safely.
Yeah, gonna come in with the snake, and just as you were talking about, now Chocobo has a great opportunity to like come in a little bit, poke and prod with the snakes, retreat back to the safety of the wire. But it might be a little difficult with the high ground here. There's nothing to really grant Chocobo high ground vision just yet. And Chocobo does have these other two bases up here in the top left. Gonna think about getting one now. No, just gonna scout it and probably be happy to see that. But Sassy does have a third. Down here in the 6 o'clock, which is a little bit easier to hold, but there's really no entrance. Like you said, I mean, where this barbed wire is, that's literally the only attack path to either side of the map.
Indeed, and so because of that, I just want to, from Chocobo, I just want to see them block down a boar and 3 falcon warrens, honestly, and try and create some attacks with that.
Here comes owl number 1 and double skunk here from Sassy, gonna power up. Maybe feeling like, okay, they've got some snakes, they got some wire, probably not going to attack me anytime soon, but the boar has been thrown down here from Cactus, aka Chocobo, and Sassy really needs to see that scout. He needs to get the snakes up to deal with that boar. Not quite going to get it this time around, though.
No. I think also that Chocobo fan is making a little bit of a mistake here in that, they sold off some of the scrolls, which is really good, because I don't think scrolls is going to accomplish much, and they actually take the advice that I was saying right before, that they should go for 6 falcons and a boar here, and see more than 6 falcons actually, and I think just a lot of falcons will see a lot of success, because most of Sassy Marquez's expensive army here doesn't really do anything to falcons. So I think they invested a little bit too hard and will have to sell to make the boar come out.
Yeah, this is looking really good. You know, this boar style is a phenomenal way to deal with the owls. And the way that the owl tries to deal with that are the snakes, but no snakes so far. And these skunks, you know, Sassy just really doesn't have the right composition for what Chocobo's bringing in here. Finally starting to get into some falcons, but this army from Chocobo is just going to be great. You know, boar, snake, falcon, that should do very nicely against the owls.
Indeed, and I think that Sassy Marquez has fallen for one of the traps that are very common with owl players, in that they only build one owl. Really, if you want to have a lot of success with owls, you will need more than one, and though you should, even though it sounds very risky, you should often try to open with 2 owls at once so that you can get up to an amount of owls that is much more respectable and harder to push.
Yeah, maybe like sell off some of the tier 1, you know, get up to 2 or 3 owls, use the double skunk to try to defend and buy some time. Okay.
I do like the economy here from Sassy, and I don't think that the Chocobo, though, should be buying any milks now. I think they should just go in, make something happen as soon as possible, because they don't have time on their side. But they do have Army, and Army comes. Here we go. I think this is looking really good for Chocobo. Explosion coming in pretty much immediately tapped out most of the front line here from Sassy Marquez. Sassy Marquez keeps moving in here. Boar explodes on a pretty good situation here. And now most of the Army here from Sassy actually goes down the Army from Chocobo just pushes in now. I think this can do a lot of damage. On the other hand, Sassy Marquez still has to lead here in eco, so this could change very quickly.
Yeah, Sassy trying to get into these extra owls you were talking about, but it was a little bit too late, unfortunately, as Chocobo did not invest in that 3rd base. Instead, went for a very strong 2-base push on the back of the board, and I think that's definitely the calling card of the board. You know, you see people kind of power up to 2 bases and then make a big swing, and now the mission is kind of done here for Chocobo. They got the 3rd base knocked out. They traded fairly effectively here. If you look at the Army value graph, they slammed through. They kept some of these Falcons alive.
I think this is a very, very good trade here for Chocobo fan, taking down the fully saturated 3rd mill here and leaving Sassy Marquez here with a very lacking economy, while they are still building on their 3rd mill now. They even sold down to get the boar again, and I think that if the boar comes out and they just repeats the exact same thing, it's just going to be success after success, and I think that Chocobo fan could just, if they keep up the pressure with every time a boar spawns, they could easily take the home this game.
Now, there are no pigeons here to support the boar, but maybe if Sassy had like 4 or 6 snakes, they could deal with that boar, you know, poison it, slow it, knock it out before it gets a little bit too crazy. But it is going to commit to the owl again, and it's still being supply blocked here. Not enough food to pay for it. And here comes that boar, and I imagine right when that thing spawns, Chocobo is going to come in for round 2.
Exactly, because Sassy Marquez Owl is just, right now, it's not doing anything. It's just 360 food that's down the drain until that owl is out. So if Chocobo fan just goes for it immediately, it's 360 food Army advantage right there, and it's bound to be good. And Chocobo fan is going for it.
Oh, the commander goes down, though!
No! Oh, and the rally back means that the Army is not going to engage here. Even without the commander, I think the Army would have had a good engage here, but Chocobo fan just needs to go for it. The more they wait, the less potential success there'll be. They are going to build a lot of Falcons, and I do like the choice of just many Falcons here, because I think the counter to a lot of Falcons usually will be Owl Snake and just grinding the game out slowly, but I don't think Sassy Marquez has that option available to them. So a lot of Falcons is just going to be almost impossible to stop at this point.
Yeah, Chocobo even getting these top couple bases here. Already have that 3rd fully saturated. The 2nd bases are basically fallowed out at this point. So this is difficult. Sassy is going to start utilizing the mice from the owl here to start breaking through the barbed wire. But like you said, I mean, 1 owl is just a little bit lackluster. You know, you need like 2 or 3 of them to really be a threat.
Indeed, and therefore just building one doesn't give a lot of potential here. Of course, it's gonna help you in taking down the barbed wire, but it's still not enough value. You're not aiming to really attack as Sassy Marquez here. You want the game to go as long as possible because you are an owl player. So having it just to tear down wire is not that good. And you see here, Chocobo now just with the superior economy and the superior army completely rolls over Sassy Marquez here and is ready to just engage here, take down this mill again, just focusing hard on it. If they take down this mill again, down goes the economy from Sassy Marquez, and I don't think there's much Sassy Marquez can really do. There's just too many bursts.
Yeah, Sassy did a good job at targeting that boar down very quickly, but since the vast majority of Chocobo's army were these Falcons here, plenty was left over after that boar went down. Wasn't really all in on the boar, and this is just going to be it. Nice try here from Sassy, but Cactus coming out with some really strong showings here in the beginners division of the Clan Wars, and I think that's going to be it. A nice quick 2-0 from Cactus, and that means we will be hopping into live matches. coming up next. And if anybody's on Clan TRG, I reached out to their clan leader. I haven't heard from them. I hope you guys are in position and ready to roll for the live matches here. Let me just do that. Make my match.
I of course know what the password is because I'm smart.
Yes. All right. So we're gonna have Alto. Let me message Alto. Okay. So we've got Alto, another beginner player here from Pboop. And I'm not sure who TRG is sending out. And again, I haven't really heard from them, so hopefully they're around.
We'll see if they are. We'll see if they are. Right now, though, I'm going to take a little break while we're waiting just to grab some water, really. So I'll be back in like 15, 30 seconds.
Yeah. Well, I'll shoot it to a break.
Be right back.
We're gonna take a quick break as Clan Toad Road Gang gets their player ready to roll. So don't go anywhere. Be back in just a sec.
And I've returned. And I hear Delthius. Hello again. A thank you to Daniel E. McDonald for following. I guess I'll have to do that while.
Yeah.
But, oh yeah, there you are, Delthius.
All
Welcome,
right.
taking care of your stream.
Thanks. So okay, I think I found their player. Oh, they're having technical difficulties. Okay, well, I guess we need to buy a little time here. Let me see.
Fight Alto, bully them live on stream. Oh,
No. Let me see. I think I'm talking to their next player. Okay, they're getting their beginner ready, so just a little bit of some downtime here, and gonna be excited. A hype match. So far TRG up 1 point. We've got Alto coming out next for us. Alto seems pretty decent. He's very new. I think he just recently started playing in the past month or two, but I got some warm-up games with him before the stream. He seemed to be doing a little bit okay.
I've got to admit, I haven't been stalking the Discord for long enough as of late to figure out the exact strategies of people around here.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I wasn't super familiar with Cactus, but Cactus played quite nicely.
I mean, look, I'm not here to remember people. I'm here to bully them.
All right, Dizon's giving me some technical pointers. I think people are saying that the stream looks a little bit dark, so I'll see if I can adjust the option he recommends on real time. But thanks everybody for tuning in. We do have a little bit of downtime. This tends to happen in tournaments, trying to wrangle all these players together and stuff. So
Of course.
just gotta deal with it for now. I'll clip this part out for the bots.
You know what? I'm gonna have to complain about TRG for a little bit. Where were TRG
Yeah.
before the Toad speed buff?
Right? Just
Yeah,
hopping
where
on.
were you all at?
Just hopping on the Toad train with the Toad Road.
Yeah, come on. You weren't. Look, back in the day when Toads didn't have speed, you saw what I did with them. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Do you remember that clip? Now that is what I wanted to see from Toad Road Gang.
Now Winter Load is the leader of Toad Road Gang, and to be in his defense, I have seen a lot of replays of Winter just making a bunch of toads in matches and just slamming them into gristmills. Like, I love that. That is the best.
I have to see if that is functional or not, but until I've seen otherwise, I will still complain.
Alright, let me see what's going on. Okay, we might have to skip ahead one. I think that's the best thing, just to keep this rolling. So, I guess TRG's beginner is not quite ready. So we are gonna hop into an experience match and keep the show on road here.
Sounds good to me. Alto's left the lobby, so we'll be looking at who again? We have 2 other players, yes?
Okay, so we're gonna go to an experience match, and it's gonna be Mr. Ziggy versus Satoros.
Ooh, Mr. Siggy, that's a name I recognize.
Yeah. He likes to play a lot of custom games, free-for-alls, and 2v2s with the boys. So, I haven't seen... he does submit every now and then in 1v1. But mostly what I see from Ziggy is in 2v2s, just hanging out, you know, having fun.
Good times.
So...
I still want to see more custom map games.
Alright, Ziggy. Alright, so I think we're getting things worked out. Again, apologize for the delay. TRG has another beginner player, but I guess they're having issues at the moment. So instead of sitting around here listening to us yak on, we're going to get to some more action. We're going to have Satoros representing Toad Road Gang versus Mr. Ziggy coming in for Clan Pboop here. I hope Mr. Ziggy's ready.
If I see ferrets, I will respect that player. I am a little bit disappointed that we haven't seen even a single ferret yet. So I'm just saying, Siki, if you want to avoid bullying,
you know, you're one of the ferret champions, I would say. Not a lot of people are piloting them well, but I like the concept of the spitball deck. You know, you can talk a little bit about that if you'd like while we're waiting. If people do want to figure out a cool way to use ferrets, because ferrets are one of those units that you really need to base like your whole strategy around. You know.
Indeed, and I don't see people doing that enough. There's a lot of creative ways to use ferret, but I don't think that sharing the deck is as good of an idea as just giving pointers on ferrets, because ferrets themselves are something you'll have to learn how to use. There's a lot of sneaky ways to micro them so that you are shooting behind enemy units, even though they're trying to dance them in front of the mill, you're still hitting it, and there's lots of ways to ensure that your ferret shots hit, and there's a way to desync your ferrets. There's a lot of small tricks like that, and that's what you really want to learn if it comes to playing well with ferrets. But even with that, I just don't think ferrets are too strong right now, but they will just sometimes pull a win out of the blue because, 1, the map says so, or 2, God, that sometimes ferrets are just beautiful.
Yeah, and I kind of like ferrets being in that sort of position. You know, since they are this like long range siege kind of unit, it is something that could be a little bit toxic for the meta if it was like, you know, ferrets are OP, right? And it's just ferrets every game. So I like the fact that ferrets are this kind of like high skill, you know, high risk, high reward kind of unit that is a little bit situational. And again, you want to focus your whole plan around ferret. Now, one thing I do want to get your advice on as somebody who likes ferrets is I feel like sometimes what if you went like another way with it, right? Like what if you had a basic, skunk, snake, badger kind of deck, and you just kind of had the ferrets in there, right? But they weren't something you rushed. You got your second base up, you get the skunks, you get everything situated, and then you just start sprinkling them in later on, when we both have these death ball armies, and neither one of us want to hard engage, and it's like, hey, well, I'm just going to shell you. But I think the problem with that is once you start getting shelled, you're just going to have to hard engage, right? Because you don't want to sit there and take all that damage.
I think the bigger problem with late game ferrets is that there's one big counter to late game ferrets that just gives better value than ferrets, and that's owl. And owl is way too popular right now for us to risk that. So I don't like the potential for late game ferrets. I like early game ferrets a lot, of course, but I think something I need to also just practice with myself, and I think has potential, is the mid game ferrets. Right.
But they need to have that good shell around them, and they're also a little bit map dependent. Like we saw in that one map from the previous games, you're over there drooling like, man, I wish I had this map with my ferrets, because I would just be going to work.
Indeed, it was just so perfect that there's like a cliff wall, and it's very hard to get to your ferrets because of all the water, and there's just so many things that'll slow you down. Seems like Mr. Sicky has come back, though, and it is time for us to engage in battle.
Alright, thanks everybody for waiting. We got it worked out. Again, Totoro Gang having a little bit of issue with one of their players, so we just kind of skipped ahead to one of the experience matches for now. We've got Satoros coming up against Ziggy here. Let's see what these guys decide in the deck selection. And we're off to the races.
Want to make sure at that beautiful unit selection from Ziggy. I like this a lot. This is a very poke heavy deck. I like that. Oh, my heart. I really like this.
Oh man, Ziggy must have heard you. Oh, come on, Ziggy. Don't showboat. I don't want him to showboat, man. We really need to put a point on the board here. I hope he's good with this kind of style.
I think he should pick squirrels here. I see the benefit of having, lizards, but pick them with squirrels or something.
We are on a delay, guys, just so everybody knows, and the purpose of the delay, and I don't think anybody would, but just to keep things fair, since it is a tournament match, neither player could look at the stream and see what the decks were or anything. So on the left side, representing Clan Pboop, we've got Mr. Ziggy. Over on the right-hand side, representing Toad Road Gang, we got Satoros. This is an experience map, and alright, Ferret Expert, what do you think of Ziggy's comp here?
When it comes to Ziggy's comp here, I'm not sure I like the whole combination of Ferret and Owl here. I don't think they jive that well together, but more importantly when it comes to Ferret is that we should look at the map here. And I think this map here is very decent for Ferrets. It's not a lost cause for Ferrets, but I think that a more defensive style in general that doesn't need sieging is just as fine too, because you can capture this forward mill here that is in the middle of the map here, but a little bit more towards Ziggy, and then just sit on 4 mills versus 3. So I think that the defensive part of it, with having MGs and just being able to sit there and wait the game out and get owls, will probably be the better plan here compared to ferrets.
Yeah, I think Ziggy's going to be happy once he realizes he's got the mill advantage. We've actually got really similar decks here, like Lizard, Skunk, Snake, Owl with the defense. And I kind of like the turrets a little bit better in the Owl versus Owl war, because you can get to that critical mass of turrets where they're just mowing down the mice very, very effectively. And meanwhile, the Balloon can be good with some control, but I feel like with these late game comps, you're going to want to be focusing your micro onto the snakes, right? So it's going to be hard to both be targeting with the snakes and the balloons at the same time. But let's see.
I think the way to go in this match here for both sides is that they only want one Warren of Snakes, and that Warren of Snakes is specifically so that they can poison enemy owls.
Yeah.
With them then going for like 6 to 8 skunks in the late stages of the game, and just popping down owls from there. And I think so that Ziggy has the advantage of just being able to build like a cube of MGs that the enemy owls can run into, and then the mice, just as you said before, will just fold through those MGs. So I think that MGs will be very good here. because they don't take damage from skunk gas specifically, and that's the biggest reason.
Yeah, and one thing that's nice about the owls is they are probably the easiest to micro tier 3 unit. You know, the only micro with the owl, well, there is a little bit of nuance. You know, you'll see very good players bringing the owl forward, letting it tank a little bit of damage, and then bringing it back. But Ziggy was trying to get into a quick snake, and Satoris is going to come in and try to punish it. Ziggy sells that farm at the last second, throws down some more Lizard Warrens, and Satoris is going to back off, but already kind of did some nice damage there, in my opinion. He delayed that farm, he forced out extra tier 1, so that was a nice little move from Satoris, and it didn't cost him anything.
Nope, I like it too. What I don't like, though, is I just want to point this out. I didn't notice it before now. Satoris, from Toad Road Gang, doesn't have any toads in his deck.
Oh, that is true. That should just be an immediate disqualification.
Yeah, on top of this, to build further on this, Mr. Ziggy, playing against someone from Toad Road Gang, picked Lizards and no other T1.
I do apologize. I just looked at the scoreboard and I had a point already on the score for Satoris. No, it is 0-0 if you are just tuning in. We did a replay match of some beginners, and Cactus, aka Chocobo, took the win for Clan TRG, and now we have hopped into an experienced player match. Right now, we're just getting started, 0-0. Pretty even so far, pretty similar builds, and now here comes the owl plays, but no, Ziggy sold the owl.
Again, you did what I was saying before you interrupt there with the scoreboard.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I just want to point out. No, don't worry about it. It's fine. I just want to point out the pure masculine strength that Ziggy pulled out when he dared go Lizard with no other T1 against Toad Road Gang.
That is very true. We often say, you know, and we do see some high level players use only one tier 1, but it is risky, specifically for if your opponent has toads. If they have toads, you want to have something like squirrels and lizards. Only build a couple lizards and have those smash intentionally into the toads and protect the squirrels, or vice versa. So Ziggy does come in and realize he's behind on the owls here. He has a better economy. He's got more lizards, but you know, the owls is the real name of the game, but Ziggy knows that his opponent's going for owls, and instead gonna try to get up more tier 2, try to get up the ferrets, and maybe thinking about a push here. Like we were talking about earlier, that one owl is not super threatening.
It isn't, but I also think that Ziggy's push is just not fast enough, because the owl is going to be up before the ferrets are.
Right, if he waits on the ferret, it's not going to work. He could have maybe gone there, but it was risky, so he decides to pull back. But getting this third base, maybe throw down some turrets? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I would like to see a cube of MGs on the front line here, and then just Ziggy going up for their own owls. And possibly, because they have ferrets, they might as well start shelling too. There's no reason really not to, but I think that Mr. Ziggy here, with just a cube of MGs at the front here, should still be able to just comfortably go for owls of their own and then just pull this game into a victory slowly. But I also want to point out that Satoris went for the sneaky mill all the way in the back of the map here.
Yeah, stole that base out from under Ziggy's nose. And will Ziggy ever go over there and scout it? Now, I think he eventually will, but probably not until he's going to go over there to take that fourth base. And he doesn't know about that fourth base, actually. Never got the chance to really scout the rest of the map out, so that could be critical. And Satoris going to delay the game with these balloons. Does still only have the one owl, but, I mean, Ziggy, his army looks like he wants to punch in. You know, he's not looking for that tier 3 transition, but let's see. He's saving up money now. Maybe here comes the owl. No. Still no owls from Ziggy.
No, he's just playing a very slow game with no owls, which is a strange choice. I hope he's not trying to force it. The whole showboating here is cool and all, but it's not very effective.
Oh, Ziggy will scout the space, though. That is nice.
Oh, yep. The base has been scouted.
Just send the ferrets over there to deal with it, right?
Yeah, normally you do that with, like, snakes or something, but since the snakes would just take away more army power and the ferrets can do it anyways.
Exactly.
Why not?
I'd rather not have the ferrets here if Satoris decides to counterattack. Gonna bait out some and now I want to see that cube of MGs you've been talking about. I think that's really what Ziggy needs. Oh, this might be starting to come together for Ziggy if he starts slamming down MGs with all that money here in the middle to start shelling with the ferrets. Nope, just gonna position over. Kind of taunting Satoris to come in for the attack. These mice not getting a whole lot done.
No, there's some good here. Ziggy still has some advantages here. I just think Ziggy needs to really make use of those advantages. The owls are finally coming up here. I see 2 owl warrants at once. That makes me very happy. And now I just need to see that cube of MGs in the middle. And honestly, with that, I think that Ziggy could possibly just stall the game out, make it long. And yeah, the lizards come in here, go for the middle. I think it's still risky to go with the lizards specifically because those make up the bulk of Ziggy's army. And it does work for him.
Yeah, they are so fast, and the map is pretty small, so Ziggy will be able to get away with it. But I agree, I would have sent the ferrets over, because they're not going to do a whole lot in that direct engagement anyways.
Yeah, I don't think the ferrets are really pulling their weight here, and I think they should just be sold at this point for potentially more skunks or just the MG cube as we've been talking about.
Yeah, and I still want to see that big line of MGs right here. That would be absolutely great for Ziggy because it helps him split the map in a way where he gets more mills, and it makes those ferrets very useful since they'll have the MGs to retreat to and start poking in. Maybe gonna sell off a lizard. No, gonna sell the ferrets. Looks like, yeah, just get rid of them, like you said.
Indeed, we've even been talking about how he can pull the mice out and bait them in, and having an MG cube to bait them into is very powerful. It really helps Ziggy bait mice and just chew them up, and then send his own mice right after, which is a great way to ensure that you win engagements by just removing the opponent's mice before you actually do the engage.
Right, exactly. Okay, so Ziggy's still ahead on economy, trying to get his owls out. Satoris hasn't scouted them. Satoris has been playing a very conservative match, actually does see them barely with that balloon. But, you know, did turtle behind these 4 balloons and is kind of delaying the game. But I think Ziggy's kind of okay with that. It's given him some time to get out his own owls. But now Satoris is building up to owls 3 and 4. And, you know, Ziggy's got a match suit in that arms race. Maybe start selling off these lizards for more and more owls here.
You see here, mice coming in here. And again, I don't like this engagement from Ziggy because Satoris just gets to take down yeah, nothing really happens because they both basically take down each other's mice. But is Ziggy trying to make a push off of this? There's just no way Ziggy's really getting in right now.
You know, he does have a huge lizard advantage. And I worry about the lizards the longer this game goes on, the more and more owls get out, because it's just going to be free food, you know, being established for Satoris. Even in that engagement right there, like 3 or 4 lizards died, and it's not a whole lot, but rinse and repeat that 10 times. Oh, here we go. Ziggy's gonna hard commit.
That's just a full-on engagement. No nothing, just all the way in here. And there's a lot of damage being done here, and Ziggy he's trying to get some micro.
Oh, I like that for Ziggy.
Those owls.
All the owls are still alive, but Ziggy just has so many tier 2 at the moment. Kind of smashes through that. A couple tier 2 go down, but now Ziggy can kind of hang out, let his units heal back up, and rinse and repeat. Maybe he needs to. I think he needs to start selling these lizard warrens. But I don't know. Maybe those lizards really help there.
I'm a little bit scared now though, because Satoris just got the 3rd and 4th foul out. So this could definitely swing the game.
Yeah, I think Ziggy needed to keep pushing there. Maybe he does have a very marginal tier 2 advantage still, though. I like this control from Ziggy too, keeping the lizards pulled back as long as possible so they don't engage with the mice. But again, you know, I think these lizards are no longer cost effective here. He needs to get rid of them. Needs to get into more owls.
Needs to get into more MGs and owls.
Yeah.
Both are really strong options here. And I think that's, especially the owls, he needs to really catch up. He just needs an even amount of owls for Satoris here, and then smack down 5 MGs.
Yeah, Satoru's really getting ahead on this owl count, and you're starting to see the force of these mice. However, there are a ton of skunks here for Ziggy, so dealing with these extra mice quite nicely so far. These balloons are going to be more and more of a pain, though. Satoris is starting to creep them forward, and Satoris is also starting to make the line of engagement on this 3rd base for Ziggy. So if Ziggy's back like he is right now, you know, this is farms dying. Then that's like long-term critical damage here.
Indeed, and I think that that Ziggy is going to really start struggling more and more as this game goes on here, because Satoris doesn't have the option just playing the long game. But look at this, Ziggy gets a good engage. He has more skunks, so long engagements like this will really favor him.
I think he needs to
under
go
the
for it.
balloons and
Oh, so many low HP tier 2 units though.
indeed, it's just really hard for Ziggy to get anything done now. He's behind in every aspect now. He didn't really get any central control here with the MGs, and I think that's a big thing. Instead, Satoru's got the central control here with balloons of all things, which shouldn't be super effective in this matchup, I feel, but managed to make it work.
Yeah, I think Ziggy just stayed on the lizards for too long. Satoros did a really good job of kind of turtling up, playing it safe, getting the economy established, getting in really the power spike hit once he got significantly ahead on the Owls. Once Owl number 3 and 4 hit the board, it got a little bit harder. And Ziggy had a couple spots where it looked like he kept going, but he decided to pull back. A lot of his very important tier 2 units were still alive, but they were very low HP. And yeah, I think Satoris just takes it from here, but a really nice match to start the series off with.
I think Ziggy needs to go back and learn to build more owls in their games, and especially along with more poisoned owl, scary, but along with just more owls, also just building up that MG cube. And I wish I could just whisper in their ear sometimes and be like, MG cube.
Yeah, he had to do it.
Do it. The MG cube here would definitely have been something that would have been extremely effective at just helping take down the mice here from the enemy. Also because they're just immune to skunks, which is a really big deal in the scenarios like this. Even though Satoru's mice die very easily from all these skunks from Ziggy, Satoru doesn't need a whole lot of value from each engage, just slow build of it. And that's what's happening here. Satoru is even trying to go for a little funny lizard engage here on the side, taking out these pigs over here on the side while all this is going on here, which I like the idea a lot, actually. Those lizards there just took down a pig, denied another one, and is taking down the mill now, just taking all of Ziggy's economy and throwing it right out. Ziggy can't really get anything done.
Yeah, Ziggy is on starvation, gonna give it one last hurrah, but really close game, but I feel like Satoru's kind of played this transition into the late game a little bit better. Maybe Ziggy has a different deck in mind or learned a little bit from that game, I think he played very well. He just had to transition out of the lizards a little bit faster to the owls, to the MGs, and I think he was in a very strong spot. He took some good engagements earlier on, but nice victory there from Satoros, managing to go up 1-0 so far in this best of 3.
Indeed, and yeah, from Ziggy's, I think still that though that Satoru's played a little bit too slow. I think that a lot of the balloons were a little bit too unnecessary, and that just one balloon would have done it with in terms of like vision, because the balloons weren't what got the good value. It was the extra owls, it was the skunks and the snakes, it was pretty much anything but the balloon. It was the balloon only really shot mice most of the time.
Spawning in the bottom right, representing TRG, fresh off one victory, we've got Satoros, and up top, representing Pboop, Mr. Ziggy. And Pboop keeping a very similar deck, teching over to balloons, but look at this smart play from Satoros here, going for this boar style that kind of is supposed to be the counter to what Ziggy's bringing here.
The Ziggy here is going for a kind of a late game style here again, and Ziggy dares go for the pure lizard here against the Toad Rogue gang, which again, ballsy play, but I see toads now, and Satoru's definitely just took notes and said, okay, I won last game, Ziggy had a lot of toads, lizards. How do I deal with a lot of lizards to keep winning? That's right, I built toads.
Exactly. Alright, so Ziggy does not know about the board transition here. Now, Ziggy does have the tools in the workshop to deal with boars. If he sees that board, typically what board players like to do is get up to 2 base and go for a big kind of 2 base push with the boar. And Ziggy does have snakes, does have falcons, those sorts of things. So really, what I think this game is going to come down to, but look at this 7-farm double coming out here from Ziggy. Going to try to be a little cheeky in the early game, but it's really going to come down to if Ziggy can scout that boar or not, right? Because if Ziggy just goes business as usual, taking the third, starting to get into an owl, that 2-base boar push will just win the game.
I also want to point out that when Ziggy has only lizards to their deck, there is a potential for a very funny sort of push here from Satoros here, which includes just building 2 Squirrel Warrens and 2 Toad Warrens, which would enable just going in very early on these lizards here. But I think that might be a little bit too late with them going for the second mill instead.
Yeah,
Ziggy's trying to get some sneaky things done.
He's gonna try to get some work done here. Maybe can get this back pig, but Satoros is having none of it. It's not in a nice position. This probably isn't gonna work. Oh, actually gets that building Warren. That's quite nice. Kills a squirrel. All right, 2 lizards for a Warren and a squirrel. Not bad. Needs to get out of here, though. Getting stuck around the terrain. Nice advance there from Satoros, picking up some more. But overall, I like that for Ziggy.
Indeed, I like that for Ziggy a lot because they actually got some value out of it while they were in, and they didn't lose that many lizards. There were some small losses, but it's not super bad. So I'd say the value was worth it.
But as you pointed out early, Ziggy took that risk and only had the single tier 1 between the squirrels and the lizards, and now here come the toads, and this is going to be rough to micro around.
I think that free toads is not enough here. I would like to see Satoros right now just going for forward warrens here, establishing a line that just push the front line up and give lizards less space to run around here.
Oh, look at this from Ziggy, just going to run around. This is pretty smart, and even if he knows about it, he's got this back retreat path he could use. So gets in, gets some damage, and is he going to take this back? I don't know if he knows about that, but this is perfectly fine too. I wonder if he's going to get that campfire. Nice.
Satoros is really not pathing his units correctly. He's taking the long paths around, and it's just not fast enough. I think Satoros here needs to really just take the fight to Ziggy and force Ziggy to stay, but he's leaving too much room for these lizards here. And he's blowing up the toads on not lizards. I just don't think this is good against what Ziggy's doing here, and that Satoros is not doing enough to just block off Ziggy.
Alright, Ziggy's gonna go for the base race. Should have started that mill though, as we saw Satoros do. One of the toads spawns, deal some damage to these lizards.
Hero Toad? Hero Toad?
Oh my god, not enough lizards here.
Hero Toad did it. I think that Hero Toad did it.
Yeah. Dang, nice try from Ziggy. But that is going to be it. And this is what can happen if you get caught with just 1 tier 1 against toads. Alright, so a nice quick 2-0 victory for Satoros. That puts TRG up 2 points. And it's not looking good for Pboop so far here. We really need a win, or else TRG is going to take it 3-0. So we'll shoot it to a brief break. We will get the next players lined up, and we'll see what's going on for game number 3. So don't go anywhere. Be right back.
Alright, well, Delthius is out here. They are already starting this match here, so I guess I'll try and do my best to commentate. I'll hope that Delthius' camera starts at a good angle, but there's hoping. There's hoping. Uh-oh, he's still on the break screen. Delthius, we need you!
Okay, I am back. It looks like our players are ready to row.
they were just about to start, so you know, worrying, but you came back just in time.
Yeah. All right. So we got Alto. This is another beginner match. Alto representing Pboop. I think he's feeling the pressure a little bit, but I believe in him, man. He's a good player. He's a beginner. He's only been playing for a month or two, and hopefully his opponent is also of similar skill level, and we have some good games here.
I think one thing that's important to say before we start, a very important message here. There's just dire need for it. Where's the ferrets?
All right, here we go. Representing Team Pboop up top, we've got Alto, and their opponent in the bottom. How do you say that one, Jet? You're European. I'm not even gonna touch that with a 10-foot pole.
You're European? Does that mean I know what this is? I don't.
Yeah, that's how it works, doesn't it? I don't know, man. I'm a Floridian.
I'm going to go for Shenshay. That sounds cool to me.
Zinshay?
Shenshay.
Zinshay. Yes. Okay.
I like that. I don't know if that's correct, but I like it. So it's correct because I like it.
There you go. We'll go with that. That's better than my Southern American dialect would be able to do.
Indeed. So Shenshay against Alto here, and I want to look at the map here real quick. Here, I like it for Alto here with the high ground base here for a second expansion. The options for a pretty well defended third here on the back, and then a fourth that's not that far away, and a fifth even if he really wanted to. He can cut off the map there in half with MG. So there's some good options there, and Shenshay does have some bases, and I don't think this will be a long game considering Shenshay's comp here that just wants to get T3 and push.
Yeah, and
I don't think the 5 bases there on Alto's side of the map will matter that much.
So we do have Squirrel Toad against just pure Squirrel again, but I don't think that's as bad as Squirrel Toad versus just pure Lizard. So I think Alto could be in some decent shape. Can also have the Chameleons later on to help tank for him. And as far as comps go, I mean, me personally, I like Alto's deck better. I think the Cams and Skunks have a lot of strength. You know, Jinjay, no tier 2 at all. So I think the plan is to be very aggressive with tier 1, and if that doesn't work, you can go for the Boar, you can go for the Badger, whichever one kind of fits the situation better.
There is a world in which Alto goes for a ballsy double Skunk one and just pushes in, and Shenshai can't do anything because they only have T1.
Alright, so Alto needs to be a little bit careful here about expanding. Let's see how well they do scouting. Doesn't see an expansion. Okay, gonna come up top. Not gonna see it, but Jinjay actually does take that 6 o'clock pocket. And looks like they're ready to move out here. Lots of Toads. Alto is gonna try to get into some Cams. But only 12 Squirrels here. However, it might come down to the Toad control a little bit. If Alto can come in here and maybe pick off some of these Toads before the fight starts, that could really help.
Silly forward farm. Why did you take the least safe farm?
These are the beginners, man, and here come the Toads.
Oh, no, the devastating Toads! Oh, my heart.
A nice attack there from Zinjay, utilizing the Toads as the clan name tag goes here, and is just gonna slam through here. Alto is in a lot of hot water. Maybe they can stabilize. Does have the Chameleon, but all the Warrens going down. This is probably going to be it, and this is the risk you run into with only one tier 1. Alto gonna have to tap here. Jinjay with like a really strong, just, you know, pretty straightforward attack. You know, built a bunch of Squirrels and Toads and pushed, and Alto wasn't really ready for it. Alto was trying to play the macro game, trying to get into the tier 2 and the second base.
Yeah, if any one of you all want to have some pointers on how to defend that, you would probably try and go for, as Alto, not the forward farm, just go for the farm behind your mill or no farm at all, and try to hang out behind your mill and kind of use that as shield against the attacks from the opposing player. You saw Alto here just got caught out in the open in front of the mill and didn't really have anything to stop the Toads from just going in and blowing up his entire army pretty much.
Oh wait, I gave the point to the wrong player there. Ha!
All right, well, I'll just do play introductions. In
Yeah,
the
man.
top of the map, we have Alto playing as Hopper, and in the bottom left, we have Sensei playing as Archimedes.
Okay, so if you're a newer player, kind of wondering what would happen there, because these are beginner matches. So Alto was trying to do two kind of greedy things, right? Alto was getting a second base and going for a tier 2. And I think if Alto was only doing one of those, they would have been fine. But doing both against an opponent that is just ramming down the tier 1, especially Toads nonetheless, because Toads have a great kind of killing power to them. They're really good at busting through and dealing critical damage, but they're kind of double-edged swords because, you know, if you don't pull that off, it can be a very cost-ineffective trade for you. So that's kind of what happened there. This map is a little bit bigger. I think in general, Alto wants to play a macro game, so you might be happy about that.
Personally, what I would want to see from Alto in this case here is that if Alto can just go for like a defensive play with some MGs here, cut the middle of the map off, and defend here, and leave the only other option being Sensei going to the water and just mass up Badgers. Like lots and lots of Badgers.
Yeah, if Alto can get to the late game, Jinjae's deck really can't do much about it. Look at this hidden base here in the 3 o'clock for Jinjae. But yeah, absolutely. Like if Alto can get to that skunk cam, even like squirrel skunk cam pigeon, you know, if he can get that up on 2 bases, it's going to be really hard for Jinjae to hold that with just squirrel toad. And then if we do get to that tier 3 situation, I'd rather just have more Badgers. You know, I don't think the boar would be needed. Jinjae does have the Badger as well, so it would be cool if we got to see a macro game. Let's see. So far, though, both players are expanding. Alto doesn't know that Jinjae is expanding, though, so I'd like to see Alto, as the coach, I'd like to see Alto build more tier 1, which he has.
Yeah. I also like the fact that none of them have any good Badger answers, except more Badger.
Yeah, exactly. So this was a much better opening for Alto. As he is a beginner on my team, I like this a lot. He seemed like he really learned his lesson from last time. You know, you built the mill, which is fine. You can play 60 food behind, but doesn't see anything but tier 1 Warrens. So instead of going straight for farms this time around, he got more tier 1. He got the skunks up, which will be good on defense. And now he's slowly starting to get into some farms. Sees the balloon here, but has not scouted this second base.
I'm not sure I'm for this balloon here. It does have 6 range, but I just don't think that it really defends much behind the mill, other than the mill protects it. So I would like to see a little bit more forward here. It does prevent cams from doing a lot of things by hitting them, but that's what you sort of have Toads for already, so I don't really think the balloon fits much of a role here, especially not behind the mill.
Yeah, and I think Alto should be happy to just kind of macro up. You know, hey, you want to make 120 bucks into a balloon, I'll spend that 120 bucks on farms, and I'll get a little bit ahead of you on the eco. So far, this is looking better for Alto. I know I'm being very biased, but Clan Pboop does need a map win here to stay in the... if Jinjae wins here, that's it. The stream's over. So for the sake of more Tooth and Tail content today, Alto winning would be good for us and our 40 viewers that we have, so...
We're on 40?
Yeah, man. Hey, so the next match is at 4 o'clock, 2 hours from now. So if you did want to stream, you know, play some Tooth and Tail, I'll shoot you the raid after this.
Oh, hell yeah.
All right, Boar is coming in from Jinjae, and Alto needs to scout this, or he needs the Star Sense to tingle and get their own Badger. I think that's really what they need against the Boar. But so far, just more and more tier 1, and that's not gonna be what the doctor ordered here. If that's the case, Alto needs to make a move, I feel like.
More Badger, please.
But this third base from Jinjae.
I think this more Badger idea might just be too late at this point. Unless it comes up like right now, maybe.
Oh, there's the Badger Warren.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 40 seconds behind though, and that is a problem, but...
And he also built it right in the front too, so if the boar comes in and attacks, I mean, it could kill that Warren.
Indeed. We'll have to see how it turns out. Also has 21 squirrels, which against boar just not very comfy.
I keep hoping Alto scouts out of their base, but still hasn't seen it. Unfortunate. I think Alto is playing a great game here. This hidden base really pulled the curtain over his eyes, unfortunately, and fortunately for Shinjay, gave him a very nice economy earlier on. Alto's just gonna push in.
I mean, Senjay just kind of give away some of his units there with some precision that got his units caught off, and now with the skunks here, also has all the opportunity in the world to just poke away.
But the boar is ready, and this badger still needs about another 30 seconds or so. Nice kiting away from the toads here. Alto's playing this really nicely so far. Might even be able to get this second base, but I'm worried about the boar. Can Alto deal with the boar? But what is nice, though, is that he's buying time for the badger to get out. But can he escape with enough of his units left over? That's still a lot of tier 1 here from Jinjay. The boar with the flamethrower chasing everything around, but the skunks will live. And I think Alto did a great job of getting some damage in and delaying the game for the badger. And I like the badger better in this situation, but keep in mind Jinjay's got his own badger on the way. So here we go, Jet.
Badger's up here, and I can see a world where Badger just wins this game. But it needs to happen right now. It needs to be a prolonged engagement where Badger can revs up, get to dodge all the explosions from toads and so on. But it really needs to happen now because the Badger from Senjay then comes in, and I think Senjay here will be fine because they have that hidden expand where most of their economy was on, and now with 2 T3s against just the 1 Badger, I think the board player here will have the advantage. Just Senjay is looking pretty smooth.
Yeah, Alto probably thinks that they have a phenomenal army lead right here because they aren't aware of that other base. But let's see how good this micro is. Both players have badgers. Jinjay's badger goes down. Alto still has his badger left, but the boar blows everything up.
Ooh, the badger was just too close to the boar, and the boar explosion just
nice
took
sell.
out everything.
Jinjay is very yeah, Jinjay is very army supply block. Needs to sell off those tier 3 warrens. Meanwhile, Alto very quickly sold off that tier 3 warren, so can get another attack up and running here very soon. Sinjay going for another badger warren. Oh, this isn't good. Alto needs to win the game right here, right now. But again, Alto probably thinks they're so far ahead in economy because they never scouted that hidden base, unfortunately.
They need to take this win right now. There's a world in which Alto just wins now. But it needs to be right here, right now. These skunks need to get good value. Mill needs to go down right here. The push needs to continue. Yeah, this is going to be really close. If he just gets to those warrens, it's game over.
Oh, if he can target down the tier 3 warrens, maybe. But no, there's enough units here to block. And now a boar and a badger are going to come out here for Jinjay.
Ooh, this is going to spell very bad for Alto here because Alto doesn't really have any much units left here. It's a double T3 coming out of nowhere. There's no answer for this.
Yeah, and Alto is probably like, what the hell? How did you afford that?
I think at this point, Alto can just has no real advantage here. I think the advantage is just completely in Senjay's favor now. He just needs to do the push, go in here and take engagements here against squirrels, against the boar. No bueno.
That is never gonna work. And Alto's gonna have to tap. GG, Toad Road Gang takes it 3-0. I think Alto played very well. I mean, he's a very new player, and I think they did a great job in those matches. I think Jinjay has been around a lot longer. And yeah, so that is going to be it for the match. Congratulations to Toad Road Gang for taking it 3-0. And the next one will be at 4 o'clock EST, so in about 2 hours. And Jet, I mean, that's it for me, man. If you were thinking about streaming, now's a good time to kick it on.
If you just give 5 minutes for me here, because I know exactly what I want to do for a stream. And the content I want to provide is simple. What if, listen up, what if I just talked about ferrets?
You should, man.
That's the most obvious thing, of course, ever, but it holds water because, like, I've been asked in chat already here, how do you play ferrets? What can you do with them? And I kind of want to just test around myself, try and learn some more things on how to do what with ferrets. So if anyone's interested in seeing ferrets, well, the ferrets are coming.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we need, to be honest, as far as Tooth and Tail content is concerned. You know, some like high level, like, okay, this is how you execute certain pushes or use certain units. So yeah, I mean, that sort of thing would be fantastic to tune into.
So yeah, if anyone wants to tune into some me just doing some fair play here, I'm going to press that button right this very moment, and because of the delay here, I might even have gone live already. So
yeah, go ahead and get your stream going now, even if you're not going to start for a few minutes. That way I can give you that big juicy raid. And that is it, everybody. I had a ton of fun. Jet, thanks so much for casting with me. It was a good time. I'm gonna wait until I see your stream go live, and then we'll shoot you over the audience. And by the way, everybody, keep your eyes peeled on the TnT Clan Wars Discord at 4:00 p.m. EST. Another match will be played. So check that out. It's a lot of fun. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We had really great viewership, so that's always awesome to see. And I hope everyone had a lot of fun. We had some really cool matches today, some close calls, but Toad Road Gang was able to take it, but that's all right. It's just the beginning of the season. Clan Pboop. See what we're doing here is we're setting up the anime, right? Like, we can't come out of the gate super strong, man. We gotta be what's the word I'm looking for? The underdog, you know. We gotta come out, lose a couple matches, you know, and then just slam through at the end. Like that's the Pboop style.
Indeed. Well, whatever happens, I just hope people get bullied. Fair to please. With that said, I'm going to actually just set up an unranked lobby and just play some games against people that just feel like joining or anything like that. That sounds like a good time to me.
All right, man. Yeah, we will we'll shoot you that raid here in a second. So thanks, everybody. And go check out Jet's stream until the next Clan Wars is up. So bye. I hope everyone had a good time. See ya.